Welcome to The Explainer. Listen, if you've opened any social media app at any point in the last couple of years, you've undoubtedly been bombarded with wild, almost unbelievable financial advice. From teenagers telling you how to buy real estate with your weekly allowance, to influencers promising astronomical returns on some obscure crypto or investment. The sheer volume of this content is just staggering. So today, our mission in This Explainer is simple. We are going to separate fact from fiction. We're taking the actual claims made by financial influencers and running them through a rigorous reality check.
So let me ask you directly. Have you ever been scrolling, seen a viral money hack, and thought to yourself, wait, could that actually work? It is incredibly tempting. When someone is confidently telling you the secret to absolute financial freedom in a 60-second clip, it's so easy to get swept up. But in the world of personal finance, relying on a 60-second video without any context can be completely disastrous. We really need to build up a highly tuned BS detector, and that is exactly what we're doing today.
Here is our roadmap across the truth spectrum today. We're going to look at viral finance, fact or fiction, promises that are too good to be true, the murky waters of half-truths, the psychology of spending, and finally, proven wealth-building habits. Let's jump right in.
Part 1, Viral Finance, Fact or Fiction. Let's start decoding the online money matrix.
Which brings us to Part 2, Too Good to be True. It's time to identify the misinformation and hidden agendas out there.
Okay, so starting on the far left of our truth spectrum, look at how reality mathematically crushes these wild online claims. An influencer promises a staggering 600% return in 2 years with something they call a bridge method. But reality? The S&P 500 averages an 8.4% annual return. When someone guarantees a return that is roughly 60 times the historical market average, your BS detector should literally be blaring. Think about it. If a 600% guaranteed return was real, major hedge funds and the entire global financial system would already be doing it.
So why do they make these outsized promises? Well, they usually end with a very specific call to action. Something like, hey, I'm going to be hosting a free live event, comment below for an invite. This right here is the hidden agenda. These exaggerated claims are merely the top of a sales funnel designed to sell you a highly priced course or some mastermind group. You'll actually often see these exact same creators claiming that standard proven methods like 401ks are a trap or garbage. Why? Because they need you to lose faith in traditional investing so you'll buy their alternative products instead.
Moving to Part 3, Half-Truths and Unrealistic Expectations. This is where good ideas meet deeply flawed execution.
This is kind of the murky middle ground. The advice here usually contains a solid kernel of truth, but the execution parameters are just wildly unrealistic. Take the $5,000 mastermind party write-off. Valid in theory, sure, because startup expenses for businesses are deductible, but the IRS demands meticulous proration of what's business versus what's just personal fun. Or how about the 15-year-old buying cash-flowing real estate for $300? Brilliant principle, but finding physical real estate for $300? Unless it's a little green plastic house and a Monopoly board, that's complete fiction. Lastly, abandoning a 401k because you want immediate liquidity. While having cash on hand does provide opportunity, giving up the tax advantages and the employer match, not to mention paying hefty penalties if you withdraw early, is almost always a massive mistake for the average person.
Part 4, The Psychology of Spending. Let's examine how money feels versus how it actually works.
You know, personal finance is honestly more about our behavior than it is about the math. Take this completely disastrous piece of advice given to a network marketer. Her income was fluctuating wildly. She was experiencing some temporary success, bringing in $20,000 to $30,000 a month, but then it completely dropped off to $5,000. When she panicked, her superior gave her this advice: you got to spend money to make money. This might be one of the most dangerous cliches in existence. Blindly following that quote when your cash flow is already drying up isn't an investment strategy. It's a recipe for absolute financial ruin.
And the result of that advice? She ended up $70,000 in credit card debt. That is a suffocating hole to climb out of, especially when credit cards often carry astronomical 20 to 25% annual percentage rates. The interest alone will just eat you alive. If you ever find yourself in a situation like this, one of the most effective escape hatches is securing a personal loan to consolidate that debt, which could potentially lower your interest rate from a crushing 25% down to a much more manageable 7 or 8%.
The real core villain in that story is lifestyle inflation. It is just so easy when you start making a bit more money to immediately upgrade your apartment, your car, and your dining habits.
The critical lesson here is to keep your expenses low until you are 100% sure that your new high income is completely sustainable for years. A flash-in-the-pan viral month does not mean you suddenly have a new baseline standard of living.
So much of this is totally in our heads. Consider checking account anxiety. Many people admit they have an absolute panic attack if their everyday checking account dips below a totally arbitrary number, like $10,000. But keeping massive amounts of cash in a basic checking account that earns zero interest just to soothe your anxiety is essentially losing money to inflation every single day.
Thankfully, we don't need to guess or rely on arbitrary numbers. There is a concrete, mathematical formula to figure out exactly what should be in your checking account to weather any monthly volatility. Step 1. Calculate your fixed monthly expenses, like rent, utilities, car payments. Let's say that's $3,000. Step 2. Add your discretionary spending, things like eating out and shopping. Let's say that's $2,000. Step 3. Add a 10 to 20% buffer for emergencies. That gives you a grand total of about $5,500 to $6,000. That right there is your checking account sweet spot. Every single dollar beyond that amount shouldn't be sitting there. It should be immediately moved to a high-yield savings account or an investment portfolio where it can actually grow.
Finally, Part 5, Proven Wealth-Building Habits. This is the 10 out of 10 bulletproof financial advice. We've navigated the scams and the psychology, so now let's look at undisputed math. This brilliantly illustrates the single most powerful force in finance, compound interest. If you want to retire at age 65 with a very respectable $800,000 nest egg and you start investing at age 20, assuming an 8% return, you only need to put away $200 a month. But if you wait just 10 years because you think finance is too complicated or you just want to live it up first, and you start at age 30, you have to more than double your monthly contribution to $450 just to reach that exact same goal. Time in the market is vastly more important than timing the market.
Let's summarize the absolute best advice we can extract from all these sources. First, pay yourself first. Set up an automated recurring transfer on the first of the month directly into your savings or investments. This is brilliant because it completely removes behavioral fallacies. If you never see the money in your checking account, you won't spend it. Second, let compound interest work for you as early as humanly possible. Third, aim to live off cash flow and dividends, never touching your principal investment. And finally, utilize 401ks. Despite what the real estate gurus selling courses will tell you, a 401k is a phenomenal tool simply because it acts as forced behavioral savings, literally taking money out of your paycheck before you can even think about spending it on lifestyle inflation.
And that brings us to the end of our explainer today. But I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over as you check your own accounts later. Take a hard look at where your money is going and ask yourself, are your financial habits currently built on the viral fiction you scroll past every single day? Or are they anchored in the proven mathematical facts of long-term wealth building? The choice is entirely yours, but only one of them will actually make you rich. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer, and I'll catch you next time.